either pick scaling laners with him and then he just secures your early game, or you just pick something that is strong in the bot lane, for example, and you play to stack drakes. So yeah, it's just a mid wall in the jungle that has to take over the first 15-20 minutes of the game, and then after that he just tanks some CC with ult and stuns people.
We also have Senna again.
Yeah.
It won all 4 games yesterday. Then I think it's been banned most of today, but it's back on the blue side. How do you feel like this pick has developed this week in the LCS?
I mean, I think Senna's broken, and I bet Senna would love to ban it, but they had to ban Ziggs.
Right.
So I think they had to ban Ziggs, so they were like, let's prepare something into Senna. We know they're gonna lock in Senna, and then just ban Ziggs because we don't have too much practice into Ziggs because no one else than APA really plays it. So I think that's why C9 did it.
It makes a lot of sense, and I feel like there's been a different way in which a lot of people are playing Senna. Like we've been seeing a lot of like Senna laning with top lane and just like abusing like a melee matchup. So have you seen that a little bit in scrims? Like where do you think that has come from? Because we saw it in LPL a little bit.
I mean, Senna is just like the big point of Senna is that she can roam to grabbies and like impact the map while her support is still getting gold and it's not possible to dive him. Like Tahm Kench is gonna farm, he has TP, even if enemies commit so much resources to kill him, he will just TP back. And it's not even worth for C9 like to commit into that. But C9 is opting into the other option, which is accept that Tahm Kench will be scaling for free and just pick Smolder, which is also gonna scale for free and hopefully will carry the later part of the game.
So if you had to pick between 1, 2, 3 to have, which one would you rather have on your side right now?
I mean, I think as a jungler, if you have Senna TK, you have way more options to do anything in the early game. Like you can be a bit proactive, and you play with Smolder. You just you as a passenger on the game. You just need to make sure the game is stable and make sure your Smolder is in position where he can take over the game. So as a jungler, I always rather play TL side.
Yeah, it's a lot more fun to play TL side, even if the scaling might work some of the time on the side of Smolder. Makes sense.
And I'm looking at C9 side, and it's been interesting because what we've heard has been like Cloud9, the break has been much needed. I actually got a chance to talk to Jack and like just in general feeling really happy about the progress that they've had during the break. Hearing about the success that they had in scrims, obviously the game that they had just yesterday has been good. So it feels like a lot of the coordination issues have been so far resolved. I don't want to speak it into, we don't know just yet. Like it's just
They've won a whole game, they fixed it.
One game. But if that's the case, I mean, a lot of people have forgotten the first 3 games that they had of the split were what we expected of them, stomping individual lanes. Jojo had great performances within the laning phase. Even in the loss that he had versus 100 Thieves, I felt like his Akali was actually ridiculous. He was like farming perfectly within that game until the later game team fight. So this comp is a risky one with how we've been seeing Senna, Tahm Kench been playing out the split, but I have a lot of faith that they can pull it out if, you know, we see the C9 that we saw at the beginning of the split.
I mean, it's a way different draft comparing to yesterday. I think yesterday they picked a lot of playmaking potential champions, and today they are playing with Smolder. So we'll see how will Blaber adapt, because I think he will have a different job today comparing to yesterday. So that's gonna be interesting to see. I think he doesn't really like to play this style.
Yeah.
But he for sure can do it.
There's the Blaber Ivern hover. Do you think this is a jungle pick here for Cloud9, or would they? I think it almost has to be. Then they'll save Fudge's pick for counter.
Yeah, I think you should pick the jungler here because you know that Senna will be participating in the top fight. So if you get counter picked on top of that, I think it will be really hard for Fudge to play. So he's just saving his champion.
It's Ivern.
Ivern.
There it is. I do like Ivern with this composition. It's going to be interesting to see if a Blaber can play it out well. Because it's just, you're right, it is a different role in general. But you have Smolder, Azir, great front to back overall. But it's going to be a different pick for him in general.
Yeah, I think he just wants to secure the early game for his team. Ivern is good because he can full clear his jungle in 3 minutes and then just run around and make sure that if any laner of his needs help, he will be there for them. So I think that's why he decided to pick Ivern here. He knows if the game goes long, he's gonna be useful. I think he just wants someone to tank the damage for his team, so they will probably look for a tank top on last pick.
And now with your jungle hat on once again, you saw the first 3 picks, said you'd rather be the jungler on the TL side. Now that you have the Ivern versus Lee Sin, which side would you rather play?
Honestly, I would rather play Ivern side right now. I mean, I'm watching on Team Liquid side. It's like really hard to make plays. Yes, you have Taliyah with Lee Sin, but in isolation, I think Azir can easily push lane and get pry over her after like a few levels, and Ivern will always be there for him to cover him when he needs a cover. And it's also Jojo on Azir, so that also plays a big part in it. So I think I would rather play Cloud9 side. I like to play the game very stable and make sure that not much happens, and then you scale well. So yeah, I would choose Cloud9 side right now.
Jojo's Azir early on in the split was actually insane. He was getting targeted. This was versus NRG. He was getting targeted consistently on side lanes. And I mean, this is at least in a Taliyah, so this might be somewhat similar. But he was being able to get out of those situations very easily. I thought he had a perfect game on Azir. So if we're judging it based off that last game, makes a lot of sense. And it's a lock-in on Jayce.
Ooh, Jayce top for Fudge.
Yeah, I actually really like that. I think that is a really cool pick, and it also goes well with the rest of this draft. It also may mean that coming out of JoJo, we will see that kind of showmaker like tank Zir build that he went yesterday as well, so I'm kind of curious to see where that ends up. But overall, C9 just seem a lot more comfortable. I like how they've been drafting on the latest patch.
Yeah, my fear is that, and I'm looking towards you, Inspired, what lane are you hovering over? Because you'd want to protect the Jayce, but obviously Smolder and Nautilus are going to be under threat with Senna. So it's going to be hard to be able to maintain both sides, right?
I think, honestly, Smolder and Nautilus will be completely fine in lane. Like, there's no way that Senna TK can set up any dive because they just don't have that much damage. I think if Berserker wants to play safe, he will play safe and last hit every single minion. And top will be very volatile, so I think Blaber will have to be around tops quite a lot this game.
That makes a lot of sense for me. That being said, you're going to be a part of the cast. We're going to be headed over to the casters on this one. Take it away, guys.
Thank you very much, everybody. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the final game of this week here for LCS Face-Off. I'm still Captain Flowers. We still got Azael, but now we got Inspired joining the show. It's not. It was, unfortunately, just a mistake.
People were playing PTA when it first came out, but people kind of quickly realized you just need runes to get you through the laning phase. I know people were really on the comment train for a while, but I think Fleet has been way better pretty much the entire time. And Fleet allows you to survive in a lot of these matchups. It procs off your Q as well, so it's very easy to kind of, if someone steps forward to trade, you Q them, you get the move speed, you eat backwards. So that is going to be some loss sustained for him in lane. We'll have to see if that does come into play whatsoever in the 2v2. Obviously, Senna and TK, not the most dominant of laners, but if you were to lose the lane, it would likely be because you're slowly getting poked down by the Senna.
And worth pointing out, too, we are seeing that Senna TK adaptation that we see pretty frequently these days with the double Doran starting item, delaying the support item instead, so you just have that extra scrapping power during the first couple of levels. As APA hits the all chat with a "How was Worlds last year?"
Well, Jojo let this off, to be fair. Jojo hit him with the "Don't choke, APA, you lose your out," and APA goes, "How was Worlds last year?"
And Jojo responds 1-9, to which APA says, "Yeah, but how did you go?" We're getting the banter early on in the all chat here.
These are two of the biggest keyboard warriors for sure.
I love it. I love it, man.
Do you like the trash talk when players are getting involved in that, Inspired?
It's always really fun. I think I'm always surprised Jojo didn't type anything yesterday.
He was coming off a lot of losses, you know?
Yeah, maybe that's why.
he had to unplug his keyboard for a little bit there, disable the all chat. How are you feeling about this? Because we've Fleet Azir, so it should be a standard Azir build. We saw the Grasp build yesterday. Obviously, that Showmaker was popularizing in the LCK. Do you have any kind of like preference on those Azir builds and how you have to play with them and against them?
I mean, I think he goes for the AP build today because he has Ivern in the jungle. So he's like basically solo AP. Yesterday he had Nidalee for the damage and they were getting ahead in the game. So all he had to do was just not get one shot and he would probably just win team fights. And right now he just opts into more damage. So I think that's just the difference in the builds.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Well, Berserker and Vulcan are respecting that early power of the Senna and TK with the double Doran's items like I was talking about. They're just hanging out back here, trying not to take too much damage. Again, we'll be comparing the stacks as the two hyperscale into infinity against one another with the Senna versus Smolder matchup here. CoreJJ on the Tahm Kench also. Remember, it was yesterday where we got to see, it was Huhi's Nautilus playing the farming support alongside the Senna that just became an unkillable meatball. I'm curious if we'll get to see CoreJJ reach anywhere near that this time around, working together with that Senna in the bottom lane. As you can see, Blaber just going about his camps here with the Ivern. Very, very fast on this champion with his first clears and hitting that level 4 if he doesn't get interrupted. And it doesn't look like Umti's really got any plans to interrupt him here at the start.
Yeah, right now you can see the top wave kind of slow pushing into impact side. So he's trying to set up a gank for Umti, but I'm pretty sure Blaber and Fudge knows about it and they will just be there to cover it and not let Lee Sin do anything.
Yeah, it feels so hard to kind of make these early plays happen, you know, against an Ivern as well, as he's going to get knocked back.
Whoa, they try to bring Blaber in there, flashing to get in range, but just not quite in time. Impact using his own flash to get back. He's very low, but he wants to stay underneath the turret so he doesn't lose all of these minions. Umti going to come up and just try to shadow this, make sure that Impact is not in any danger of a dive. Umti throws out the Sonic Wave, but he doesn't really connect on anybody with it. Fudge gets reinforced there by the shield from Ivern, as Umti just gonna walk it on back towards that turret. Impact stays alive. Everything gets a little bit dicey there, but nobody actually drops just yet.
I'm honestly kind of surprised that Fudge just didn't base when they crashed the wave, because now he's in a little bit of an awkward spot as Umti's looking for Blaber, but flash.
Yeah, that accelerated shock blast forcing the Team Liquid jungler back, but Impact is now looking for Blaber, locks him down with a counter strike. Sonic Wave, resonating strike, Blaber, one more hit, and it's first blood back over to Impact's Jax. He tried to leap strike away, but the bullet was in the air, so Fudge makes it a 1-for-1, and now the Jayce has double buffs. Umti trying to get away, meanwhile on the bot lane, a 2v2. Yeon's gonna be focused down here at the very start, 150 HP remaining, and Berserker goes in. Berserker gets him. Umti still staying alive back in the top lane as Berserker's only got 100 HP, and CoreJJ is not gonna get him back. It's 2-1, favoring C9, just 4.5 minutes into the game. Press the attack!
Yeah, man, 42 damage from the PTA, insane. But man, dying early to a Smolder lane, that is doomed.
That is a little bit embarrassing, yeah, I agree.
That is really, really doomed. And he's going to be able to get a Sheen off that buy. So Berserker going to be feeling really good about it. You know, got very confident going forward. Already has 21 stacks as well because they've been PvPing. And I've got to say, I played a lot of Smolder when it first came out. When you get to play against a Tahm Kench, that is literally my dream matchup because it is so easy to farm stacks off him. Every time he's killing minions, I'm queuing him. Every time he steps up for another minion, you're Wing him. You're getting so many free stacks. Just from this guy trying to farm, because it's going to be the farming Tahm Kench, not the farming Senna.
Right.
So it's I would say it's probably literally the easiest realistic champion in the game to actually get stacks off of. And when you get to 25 faster against something like a Tahm Kench, then all of a sudden you're getting way more off the minions because you have the AoE. So it really ramps up how quickly you get to that benchmark. You know, he's going to have 25 here pretty much already.
Yeah, and now we are in the part of the game that I was talking before, that Senna just starts roaming. Oh, there's flash in the mid.
Flash for flash. Vulcan not afraid to try to just go in here after APA. Taliyah now without that flash. I like the timing on this too, because just now you can see on the side of your screen, both mid laners hitting level 6. This opens up the window for Jojo to go in for the all-in.
Yeah, definitely. I think Vulcan knows that he doesn't need to have flash to be useful. He has Hex Flash unlocked currently, and Taliyah needs to be really scared to walk up to enemy wave.
And we didn't really get to talk a lot about, you know, the kind of what else happened up in top lane.
We aren't going to have the chance. This is exactly what I'm talking about. APA lost the flash earlier, and Jojo sees the opportunity to commit his and go in, finding the third kill of the game here for C9.
This game is already getting out of control. You know, C9 with this good of an early game, with this sort of composition is so rough. And yeah, to finally get back towards the top lane, it's like, yeah, Impact got a kill, but Jayce got the kill right back, got double buffs, and didn't have to use his flash. So Jax is trying to play that 1v1 against double buff Jayce with no flash is really, really tough here. And there's Jojo on the entrance, the E a little bit late for the stun coming in from APA. I think he was going to be dead either way, though.
I'm not sure if Jojo maybe cancelled the last part of his E with flash, so that's why Taliyah didn't stun him. Because I think if he was trying to cast his E on full range, I'm pretty sure Taliyah E was in time to stun him there, but he just cancelled it with flash. That was pretty well played by him.
Nicely done. Gonna be able to find the kill for himself. That one, of course, it did go to Blaber, but again, 34 stacks here already for Berserker. He's going to be working towards the Essence River very fast.
And Cloud9 might be off to the races here in terms of leading with gold and kills, but Umti has at least been able to find a little bit of a consolation prize. The first 3 grubs did go the way of Team Liquid, and you can see now Umti going after that first Drake. Blaber's walking down towards it, but the objective is already secured. So Team Liquid making sure they aren't just hemorrhaging here in the early game, even if the gold is favoring C9.
So you're in empty shoes right now, Inspired. You know, what are you trying to get done in these next couple minutes to kind of claw this game back a bit?
Yeah, I think as Umti right now, you are kind of on the clock. Like, you need to find opening in top lane. The moment Lee Sin gets this kick and his flash is coming back up, I think he needs to surprise Fudge with some creative gank. And I think if Fudge will be aware of everything that is going around him, and Blaber will try to give him some vision, I don't really see any openings for Team Liquid right now.
Oh, that's really tough. So talk me through, you know, if you're playing in game and that's the opportunity that you're going through, what's kind of comms like with your top laner as far as like how you want the wave to be or how you're going to try to set this up?
Whoa, hold on. We might not have time for that, boys. It's another scoop coming in from Jojo. APA trying to escape from it as Blaber once again looking to help out this mid lane matchup. CoreJJ makes his way over to APA. He uses the Devour plus the Abyssal Dive to guarantee the Taliyah won't fall again.
But the problem is you're still going to lose all these minions and there's no TP on APA, so you're going to probably lose a plate as well, but another fight bot lane.
Yep, we're not done. Vulcan's going to get kicked and they kick him right back through Berserker, but it's not enough lockdown on either target to really threaten the kill. Berserker and Vulcan both going to walk away here.
Couldn't Lee Sin actually secure that kill? I was pretty sure Vulcan is dead there, hooking in with no flash and Lee Sin having kick, but he manages to get out. I think that was kinda illegal. But
if Impact gets dove, this is so doomed.
Taliyah has TP, but I don't know if she wants to invest her TP to save the Jax here.
Yeah.
Impact just has to leave and wait for his teammates to help him out.
That feels bad, man. Even if you don't die, losing out on the EXP and the gold underneath the turret, he can at least make his way back up here now, but still loses out on some of that. Blaber doing a good job applying pressure up here in top.
Well, I mean, look at the farm, right? You know, you're down 20 CS. You know, you're having a lane against that Jayce, who had the double buff, so when you had no flash, he had his flash. You can't really threaten it all in either, because if you leap strike in, he flashes away from it, you're just going to get chased down by the phase rush and killed. And so he's lost plates as well. Fudge in a really good spot, even on that tier, he's being able to win the lane. And Jayce is going to be scaling up pretty well in the mid game, as Jojo is going to have to get out of there.
Yeah, as I said, I mean, with the game going on, I think Jayce is just getting stronger and stronger, and Jax doesn't really have that many good items nowadays to build to actually pressure the enemy team, while I think Jayce, the moment he gets like 280 items, pretty much whatever items he wants, he's just dealing so much damage.
Yeah, there's a lot of poke. One saving grace I would say on TL side is at least you have Senna. It does have actually quite a bit of heal to help you deal with that poke, but TL obviously trying to start up this Grubs up on the top side, and they do already have 4, so they want at least one more, and they should probably be able to get it. Umti didn't use his smite on the first one, so they are very likely going to get the Void Might spawns.
Yeah, Jojo is pushing mid to make sure that Taliyah has to choose, either contest grabs or drop the mid wave, but Jojo says he doesn't have enough mana, so he's just going to base, and he just gives up the objective.
Yeah, all 6 grubs going the way of Team Liquid. C9 up 1.2 thousand gold, 10.5 minutes into the game. Team Liquid with 6 grubs. We'll see if they can scale to a point and stop Cloud9 from bleeding them out to where they can get a lot of returns on that through a side push, through something that would be able to bring this game back a little closer.
Yeah, that's the thing with Grubs is they are this objective that can be really, really strong, but it's like potential to do damage, potential to actually have value, right? Because if you're losing the lanes, you're not going to get there. Fudge does get rooted up, but Umti just going to complete the recall. And honestly, it's lucky he did because Vulcan is here to cover as well. So had you looked for any sort of a play there, it would not have gone well for TL. So C9, as you said, you know, Fudge is going to be aware of it. Very clearly, C9 is aware of the fact that this would be where TL would look to attack.
Yeah, I think C9 just sees Team Liquid play condition. Oh.
Hold on now. We're going to combine the power of the Nautilus with the Jayce, knock him up into the air, smack him in the face. Vulcan, unfortunately, the one who gets the kill credit, but it's still what they were looking for. They knock Impact down again. They're going to get Fudge some free firing time on that top lane turret as well.
Yeah. And that's something you really don't want to see as Tahm Kench, just farming your minions bot, your Senna roams to top lane, and then she just leaves your top lane and dies to a gank. I mean, that really looks like a beginning of the end of the game for Team Liquid.
It's really, really tough. And that's the difficulty, you know, when C9 is in a winning position like this. When you're playing a melee champion into Jayce, the only way you get pressure is by being aggressive, by, you know, putting yourself forward in that lane. But when there's someone behind him there, you know, Blaber was covering him for a long time, then Vulcan just really good roam. Because again, you know, Tahm Kench is going to exert 0 pressure in the 1v1 against Smolder. You're just allowing this guy to free farm, so they don't have to be, you know, stuck with Smolder protecting him, because this is not a powerful 2v2. And I think that's one of the biggest differences about why this draft is working so well for C9 compared to some of the Smolder games we've seen fail in the LCS, where Smolder is in these really tough matchups, and the jungler is called bot to try to cover dives and protect the Smolder constantly. This has just been Berserker chilling.
Ooh, Jojo very low here, and Yeon puts a bullet through him. APA got him almost there, and it's the Senna that gives the extra little bit of damage to get him over the line, get Team Liquid their 2nd kill of the game.
I think that was really personal for Jojo. He just legit saw the Taliyah stand on top of the wall and just walked into him. And APA is instantly hitting the ult chat.
XD, what are you doing, bro? I love it. We got to make sure that we stay up to date on these all chests throughout the game between these two.
The game within the game. Who's going to get the mental advantage?
Absolutely, man. The mini game is half the fun. But it's a pretty close one here still. Cloud9 up, 400 gold, but that's nothing crazy, right? Especially considering Team Liquid fully controlling neutral objectives up until this point. And it's Umti again, right back onto the Drake here. 13 minutes in, looking for Drake number 2. They already got the Hextech Drake first. Chemtech Drake now coming out second as Impact pops the ulti, going after Fudge, forcing him back at the same time.
Oh, and right now Taliyah is trying to make a play top while Umti is doing Drake. So I think they will have to decide what do they want to pull off, and they want to attack top, so the Drake will go to C9.
Ooh, okay, APA at least forces the flash back out of Fudge, but with Team Liquid committing their mid laner up into the top side, exactly like you're calling out, man. They say, all right, we're not going to take the Drake, we'll just concede that instead, but getting that first tower, that's what we were talking about earlier, right? There's your value out of taking the grubs. You've got that structure damage potential.
Exactly. I think it's actually way better than grabbing that second dragon in this case, because you're getting so much gold onto the Jax. The Jax now has his Triforce completed. You took 6 grubs. If Jax can start winning in a side lane, all of a sudden you can be a massive threat on these towers, and that can really open up the game, right? If Jax is drawing pressure, if he's drawing multiple members there, that makes the job a lot easier here for TL. So I think getting the gold there was smart. It does mean C9 obviously get one dragon though.
I think if Jax is not in position to pressure on side lane, I'm not sure what else they can do. So that was a really good trade by TL. I think honestly the game didn't look that good 4 minutes ago, but right now it's looking good. I think Impact will have a lot of opportunities to carry this game.
Right. I mean, 4 minutes ago, Cloud9 had a 1,500 gold lead, right? Now it's Team Liquid equalizing everything. Umti maybe looking for an angle here on Jojo, but Blaber was already ready for it. Jojo now making sure that he doesn't get counterattacked just yet. Impact is here too. Jumps in here with a helicopter. Looking to turn Jojo into a landing pad, but Fudge is ready to follow up. They find the Sonic Wave onto the Jayce, but Umti's so low, he just can't follow it up with a resonating strike, trying to make any sort of a play. Already had to use his flash there as well, so can't reposition for the Dragon's Rage. Vulcan standing away from the side there, wants to lock down APA. The Taliyah once again in some trouble, and once again saved by CoreJJ. Berserker and Vulcan backing away now as Fudge and Impact have both made their way back into the fight. The 1v1 between the top laners off to the side. Counter-Strike will not land the stun, so Impact's got to back away again. Jojo may be locked down here. The shields from Blaber keeping him safe. All of this fighting, no kills just yet. Impact gets the stun. There it is. Fudge is done. Impact takes him out.
And he's going to be able to get the tower off this as well, and they're just going to give the solo gold over to Impact. Umti just going to base. The Void might spawn, going to be able to take it up. C9 trying to get something back here in mid, though.
Teleport wants to try to defend this turret, but APA, he teleports in only in time to die. That one's got to be all chat worthy on there. The mom over the top. They summon up the Azir turret after they take the enemy objective, so there's no counterattack. Well done there from C9. APA just maybe overestimating how defensible that objective really was.
Yeah, not going to be able to keep him safe. TP's in, the tower goes down, he dies to boot, but still another kill for Jax on the bottom side, another tower for Jax as well. And it's kind of fun seeing Impact back on a carry. He's been almost exclusively on tank duty this year. He did play the one Rumble game, but besides that, it's been Cassante Udyr and basically just that, right? Yeah. So it is going to be him back on a carry. He's always had, a couple of these carries, in his back pocket that he has done really well on. And Jax, people forget, but that's a skin. He is
his world champion.
Skin is on Jax.
He doesn't use it though.
The old skins, they don't look as good as the new ones. We'll just put it that way.
Not quite as stylish, but the Rift Herald now in the eyes of Team Liquid. This will be another neutral objective going their way. Going to continue praising Umti for being able to control the vast majority of these. The only neutral objective they haven't claimed was that Drake that was traded for the top lane tier 1 turret that we talked about the importance of earlier. C9 once again back in technically the gold lead, but it registers as 0, so it's like, what, 10 gold? This doesn't really matter. The game so close between these two squads here at 17 minutes. And remember, they're tied in the standings too. 5-5 for TL, 5-5 for C9 heading into the last week of regular play. Every single one of these games matters a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Both coming off of some different games, though. Yesterday, obviously, as TL took the loss to Energy.
Yep.
And C9, big win yesterday for them. So, trying to keep that moving in the right direction. C9, obviously, were expected to be heavy favorites alongside you guys. Those were kind of most of the teams that people were pointing at as top 2 teams. C9, though, coming into the second last week was 4-5, which was pretty shocking. And I think it's really important that they started out this week on the right foot. They were able to do so.
Vulcan finding the jump on Umti there. but they do not want to overcommit to the Lee Sin. Daisy gets summoned up, shoved right back into the unraveled earth. That might be a very short lifespan for Daisy. Okay, she barely holds on.
Yeah, I think at this point of the game, Team Liquid doesn't have so much damage when Ivern is grouped with the team. I think whenever they go Nautilus, he just gets Ivern shielded and they are not really able to kill him. So I think they should just keep looking for picks on side lane where Ivern is not included in the fight.
Jax win condition.
If you're Umti, are you just kind of looking for ways to set up Jax, trying to talk about, how you're going to be able to get him up to get some more vision, try to get him to get towards those tier 2s, or what's kind of your goal in the game at this point?
Yeah, I think you are just like running from camp to camp. When your camps are gone, you just like show on one side and try to surprise enemies on the other side by like instantly running there. I think that's why he chose the blue smite this game, to like be pretty quick on the map and like run from bot to top pretty fast. Right now seems like they want to use their grabbies and just group on bot side and trade bot tier 2 for top tower and probably recall and defend their tier 2 tower top side. But we'll see Cloud9 allows it. Right now seems like they're all basing to defend that tower, and Fudge will have TP ready to not let it happen. So maybe we'll have a fight breaking up around it.
And one thing that hasn't really been one of the main stories of this game has been the Smolder. Berserker sitting at 1-0-1 after that first little bit of lane dominance they accrued for themselves. But he's quietly got about 170 stacks here. 19 minutes into the game, should be on track to get one of those early 20-minute style 225 breakpoints, which could be a big game changer for these mid-game team fights, as C9 again just steps forward, trying to force Team Liquid out of the C9 blue side jungle. As the third Drake of the game has spawned, it is Ocean Rift. Team Liquid grouped up down here, ready to threaten for this.
They're potentially thinking about fighting this, because Jojo's basing, he has TP. Fudge just finished his second item, he's TPing back. So
Jojo
I think
also finished
second item as well. So they're going to look to try to get something done. At the very least, they're going to try to push for mid, and they do have mid prio now, but Dragon getting pretty low here.
Yep, Dragon down to 5k. Team Liquid not wanting to overcommit to it. Impact is driving the Herald into the bottom lane tier 2 turret. They just want to at least get some kind of an objective. The Drake will be slain by APA. Team Liquid going to grab Drake number 2 for themselves this game, as Impact does not want to force the issue too hard there in the bottom lane, even though he was driving the Herald. They're just trying to split the attention of C9. Vulcan get locks down. However, he buffers through it there with the dredge line. Mom comes in over the top as Fudge tries to step up, but Umti goes for the get. He's found Fudge. The Jayce is caught, or is he? It'll be a 1-for-1 trade here at the very start, as Vulcan now gets seismic shoved. APA landing the CC here on a 2 as Jojo wants to press forward. Impact probably the counter strike here yet again, but he's not going to stun anybody up. He has to try to keep running, but Berserker is gunning everybody down. CoreJJ wants to escape. APA's over the wall. He's going to take Blaber out with him, but he still falls. It's 3 dead on Team Liquid, 2 dead on C9. The fight turns into a bloodbath.
Yeah, Cloud9 win the fight, though, and they're going to get the tower off the back of that as well. Berserker 194 stacks now, got some kills. The Azir getting fed, the Smolder getting fed. We can see it one more time. Talk us through this fight, Inspired.
I mean, it was a really good kick by Umti. Honestly, like I thought the fight might be just over if Jayce get one-shot there, but I'm not sure. Maybe they couldn't chain CC him correctly or just one-shot him in the CC. Like right now, no one could really follow up in time, and he gets the flash out, which buys so much time for Azir and Smolder to just free hit. And after that, I think Team Liquid just runs out of damage. And with the Ivern shields and Nautilus, right now Jojo is playing very well. He's just chasing enemies. He knows he has flash and ult up in case enemy try turning on him. And he's just using the power of Ivern, basically. I think, just a well-played fight by Cloud9.
Yeah, they did it really well, and you called it. The fact that they couldn't actually kill Fudge off, instantaneously made such a difference. The fact that Impact has to go back in, he's actually getting hit by both the Azir and the Smolder to try to finish him off. Then he had nothing left, and Jojo now almost catches Umti, who is going to flash out of there. They have the Azir turret up in mid, and with Azir, you always have to be nervous about these Baron turns, because now there's no flash on Umti. They have Daisy out. They're going to be starting this up, and they're going to force TL to try to come.
Yeah. All right. All 5 players from C9 in the Baron pit. Impact going for a recall. His Unleashed TP is ready to go, and C9 is not burning this Baron down super quickly. So they are going to get the Jax teleport, but how much longer do they want to stick around? Daisy down to about 450 HP. Yeah, it looks like Team Liquid's going to scare them off with this one. Blaber going back into the pit now. Daisy staying aggroed by Baron. About to die here, but Umti getting caught. That's going to be a huge scoop. Jojo goes on a rampage, and Umti goes down.
Didn't he just get knocked up by Nash? It looked like a 5v6 fight.
Oh, Impact coming in for the counter-strike. Vulcan's gonna be bursted down first, but Smolder summons Mom. APA gets the kill on Vulcan, so now we got ourselves a 4v4. C9 still trying to keep the aggro here on the Baron, as Fudge has got to be careful. He jumps in after Yeon, but Impact's ready to fight back. Fudge stunned up, gunned down. Yeon taking him out as Team Liquid ends up with the man advantage.
I mean, Cloud9 were just really underestimating the Baron damage there. They were getting blasted by the Baron. And when we see those graphs where it's just all the team fight damage, I want to see the Baron damage in that one because they got slammed by it.
I mean, honestly, I didn't want to judge their decision, but as Cloud9, you're like hard out scaling right now. You for sure can hold silent. You don't have to force Nash when your Smolder doesn't have sums. You can legit just wait for your third items to come in, and then the game is pretty much free. But they took the risk. They wanted to finish it way faster than.
Yeah, and here's the initial catch, so gonna be able to get empty.
Looks pretty good, honestly. Like,
it does.
From this position, I don't know what goes wrong now.
Well, we can see. I mean, they're in the pit. Impact goes forward. You know, gets a stun there, and it's a nice flip back
Really
from APA.
nice combo at APA, yes.
Exactly. So Vulcan dies right off the bat. The Dawning Shadow hits multiple people, and it's this point where it really starts to get risky because look how much damage they're just taking from the Baron the entire time. The Baron is aggroed on a C9 member for literally the entire fight.
Yeah. You can see the miscommunication here on the C9 side. I think Blaber was standing in the pit and he knew Lee Sin is dead, so he was like calling to finish the Nash, but his teammates were in position where they couldn't really damage the Nash.
Yeah.
So it ended up that Blaber is staying in the pit ready to keep fighting while his teammates are clicking away, and that kind of made the fight hard.
All right, as we're back to live and C9's back into the Baron pit, important to point out, Smolder hit 225 during the replay, 23.5 minutes into the game, so the true damage burn and execute is now active for the C9 AD carry. Umti maybe looking for a steal here. He goes over the wall, he steals it! Team Liquid gets the Baron thanks to Umti, and CoreJJ wants to try to save Impact. Another massive shove coming out from APA, and Vulcan's already down. Impact stays alive for now as Berserker's trying to fight these guys off. C9's got to be careful though, as APA still looking to go fishing one more time. Jojo tries to escape, but another rock gets thrown over the wall, and the shutdown goes to CoreJJ. Yeon still looking, Team Liquid still cooking. Blaber, 300 HP left here on the Ivern, trying to get away. Fudge wants to protect him. Team Liquid and Umti absolutely take over in the Baron pit.
Man, Jojo, you could tell the plan was Jojo's going to be able to use the Azir ult, keep him out of the pit, but the Azir ult was a split second too late. Umti gets in range of the smite. I don't think the Q damage even connected from the Lee Sin, for the XU. I think it's just the smite, because, let's see. It's down to 2K. He's going to take it in. There's the ult from the Azir. Did the
Smite
Q...
went too early by Blaber.
Oh, that was close. Very, very close. That's a tough one. But again, why flip it?
Yes, why are you flipping it? I think your Jayce was in the excellent position this game to just hold the silent for pretty much the whole game. And right now, because you're dancing around Nash for so long, your Jayce is level down. I'm pretty sure Impact is about to hit level 16 soon. Or maybe not yet, he's actually just level 15. So he's just full level down. Now he has Nash, and now it's gonna be really tough to hold him on the side lane.
Yeah, it just seemed like really strange decisions. Even on the earlier play when they just got the TP from Jax, I felt like they could have just backed it off. You're stacking up on Smolder. Fudge now TP'd in on. Here's CoreJJ.
He doesn't have phase rush anymore.
Yeah.
CoreJJ might flash and just eat him.
There it is, the Devour. Fudge is out of there. It'll be a 5v4 for Team Liquid now for the next 45 seconds. They've got the Baron for the next minute and 15. They're already at plus 3,500 on the Baron buff gains overall. Berserker's gonna have to try to farm up a Storm to deal with these guys, man, because Cloud9 has completely given away any sort of a lead they might have had.
Yeah, it's tough, right? And now you've given over the Baron buff, and also they're on Soul Point, right? So, there's also the Soul to worry about. Had Cloud9 just chilled and farmed during these 5 minutes, got the most possible stacks, then showed up for a Soul fight, I feel like they would have been in a really, really good spot in this game. But now it's a bit of a desperate spot. They're gonna have to win that next fight. It's kind of do or die.
Yeah, I fully agree. As a coach of Cloud9, I would just go into the room and say, guys, why you just didn't farm? It was so free. Why did we have to go to Nashor?
It's tough, man. Umti going in, getting that clutch steal away from Blaber, from C9. Also, I forgot to mention, APA said, thanks, Blaber, after the Baron steal in the all chat.
Do you mute these guys when you're playing against them?
I mean, none of them ever spoke against us yet. Like, I don't know why. I think they just don't type to us. We are just too bad.
All right, well, TL pushing in here. They're playing through mid and top. Umti just bouncing between the waves, obviously. In fact, pushing up that top wave. He's playing Koenig Rookern now, by the way, and has picked that up. So it's quite a tanky Jax if he is going up against Jojo, but pretty useless item if he is playing against that Jayce.
Yeah, I think he just realized that the Jayce sacrificed too many waves for the team, so he's gonna beat him anyway. So right now he just needs to buy something that he can beat Jojo as well.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Gonna be able to shrug off so much of that poke. Still great wave clear on the Cloud9 side, and they do still have, you know, about 3 minutes until the next objective would be up, and they'll have to worry about that. Berserker will crest the 300 mark by that point very easily. I'm assuming, let's see how much gold he has in pocket. He already has 2200 gold, so he's gonna have the rapid fire basically whenever he wants it.
Yeah.
So he's gonna be on 3 core. Jojo's gonna be on 3 core. You're gonna have 300 plus stacks on the Smolder. It's still not like a free game for TL by any means, but I would say they're one fight away from potentially winning this game.
And the thing that's interesting to me, if we look at those timers in the top part of the screen there, they're very close to perfectly synced up, right? It's about a 15-second desync between Baron and the Drake. And the problem with that is, from Cloud9's point of view, you've got to stop both of those. Those are both a tragedy if Team Liquid gets them. Team Liquid's fine throwing away a Drake to grab a Baron if that's the trade they have to make. Easy one.
Yeah, definitely. I think right now Cloud9 will have to make use of the Ivern shields and like try to poke with Smolder while not getting too much damage in return. Because if the fight starts when everyone is full HP, I'm pretty sure Team Liquid just has more damage than them, because Smolder doesn't like the fights that are really fast. He likes to poke with Q, just wait a little bit, hit the front line and just spread the damage around the carries, and not like a full engage type of fight.
Exactly. Like he's much more of a caster, right? You know, even once you have the 225 stacks, the burn goes out over 3-4 seconds, so you have to be slowly burning away, slowly chipping away, but it can get really oppressive. You know, once you have that rapid fire in as well, every time that's up, you're stepping forward, especially if it's splashing through multiple people, can get pretty difficult. Obviously, there is some sustain, courtesy of Yeon over on the other side, that is going to help them to shrug that off, but still not easy. We can see Impact now has the Seeker's arm guard, so in towards that Zhonya's. This was the build we were seeing a lot of last year, obviously. Allows you to dive into the back line, you throw up the Counter-Strike, you push back one of those carries, you go into the stasis, you come out, Counter-Strike's back up, and you can just kind of push out an Azir or a Smolder entirely through that fight, because if they try to ignore you, they're still going to die. So it just buys a lot of space for APA, for Yeon, for Umti to get things done while you're pushing one of those carries back. And I think it makes sense against really a team that has 2 big threats, right? In the Azir and the Smolder.
That was a pretty close try, by the way. They were grouped, Kench had no flash, and I'm pretty sure Vulcan could go for the flash hook there. I think if they start the fight on Kench while both of the split pushers are on the side lane, they might not join the fight in time, but he kind of hesitated, he thought he would land it without flashing in.
Yeah, Team Liquid has Umti shadowing APA as he shoves up in the bottom lane, Impact shoving up in the top lane. Only Yeon and Core left in mid just to try to defend that. Yeah, APA
Azul
getting that wave shoved all the way up. He's trying to TP APA! APA! Oh no, man, what was that? Jojo gets the absolute loot pinata out of that teleport.
And you could see on the player cams, APA realized his mistake. As soon as he started pressing TP, you could see the frustration on his face. He realized he was not supposed to do that.
Yeah, that TP.
That TP sucked. I mean, he could have just ulted out to safety, no problem.
Yeah, I mean, he could have walked out, and if he's going, then he could pretty much get out for free.
And now we're at that point of the game I was talking about where this is supposed to be a difficult call for C9 on how to defend both the Soul and the Baron. But now with APA dead for 20 seconds still, you easily stop the Soul, and then you're ready to contest Baron right after.
You're just going to run straight to Baron, actually, because there's no TP on APA. So he would have to ult out on the map to even be a part of this fight. So now it gets really, really dicey. There's pings over there. At the very least, they want to reclaim some vision in this area. They are going to be going back to base. So Berserker, another 1,500 gold in pocket. And this is going to be able to probably grab BF Sword, work towards BT. Almost always what you see from this spot.
Yeah, it looks like Vulcan wants to refresh his wards, and we'll just go slow from there. But yeah, that's definitely the fight.
Ooh, okay, Impact.
Q is very low CD at this point.
Yeah, he really wants to go in after Fudge, forces the flash out of the Jayce. Nicely done, as Fudge has to go all the way back home. Not having that flash, not having that summoner spell means Fudge is much more vulnerable now.
Yeah, that's really big. Honestly, as Taliyah, I would maybe even look for some ganks on this Jayce on side lane around, and that's what she's doing. She's just hovering around bot side. Whenever this Jayce walks up a little bit, instantly ult on him, and I'm pretty sure if he dies, now she's completely free from Team Liquid.
Team Liquid still in the lead, still with control of the map. Of course, the teleport did cost them. They lost the opportunity to go for that soul. They lost the control that they had over the Baron pit, but they're still in a pretty solid spot here overall. Checking in on Berserker, about 340 stacks here on the Smolder, so continuing to scale towards infinity.
I'm a little bit surprised by the last Whisper, because at this point in the game, so much of your damage is true damage and magic damage and all this kind of stuff, that it almost always feels like people just build that more survivable builds because you don't need more damage, right? You just need BT and things to stay alive, but maybe he just sees it like I have Ivern, so I'm safe.
That's what I was talking about, but the wall was placed a little bit
close.
A little bit too far up.
Yep, just needed it slightly to the left. They could have maybe found the pick onto Fudge there, but now once more we're at the spot where it's hard for APA to make the rotation over. He does not have the teleport yet, still about 1/3 of the cooldown left on that one. The actual second amount is a minute and a half, and then still needs the ulti to come back as well as Impact continues the siege here in the bottom.
And this is still dicey because remember, this Azir tower is about to expire. They have to have a second person there. Fudge can't actually play in the 1v1 from now pretty much until the end of the game, so this is going to be really tough. You know, they have to have someone there hovering Fudge, or potentially he can get solo killed because Impact has flash, Fudge has no flash. If he dies in that side lane, if you lose the inhib, all of a sudden the game really starts to fall apart. So TL do have this way to play through it, and that's why C9 are going to move up. They're going to try to deny vision. They're going to try to keep that fear in Impact, because if you have no wards in the enemy jungle, it's very difficult to actually be threatening that inhib without potentially just inting.
Yeah, I think as the game going on and everyone is getting items and more damage, like Ivern is kind of becoming very sad. Like his shields don't have that much impact when everyone is dealing a lot of damage. So yeah, it's kind of sad to be Ivern at this point of the game because everyone one-shots you, everyone one-shots your shields, and pretty much the same happened to your Daisy. So yeah.
Yeah, the shield right now for Ivern, not even quite hitting the 300 mark. It's 294 is the value for that.
You get also amplified by items, so it's probably like around 400, let's say.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I mean, it's still quite a lot, but let's be honest. Like if the Taliyah full combo hits you with full items, like you are dying anyway.
More than 400's not exactly going to prevent that from becoming a disaster. As C9 moving into the top side river now, trying to sweep out some of this Team Liquid vision. They do not want to overcommit, though. Their greatest sin so far this game was committed in the Baron pit. They gotta be cognizant of that, as we've got 90 seconds until the Drake spawns again. Still soul point here for Team Liquid. Cloud9 sitting on 2 Drakes of their own, so if they can manage to get this next one, we'll be in another situation similar to the previous game.
They see everyone
Okay.
Cloud9 over on this side, so now they have to fully commit to the Baron or base right now, and they're going to hard commit to the Baron, so it's going to be a flip potentially.
Okay, C9 looking to burn it down. Umti cannot make his way into the pit here this time, but Vulcan's the sacrificial lamb. They're going to kill him off. It's the inhibitor and Vulcan traded away, as now Jojo's under pressure. If APA and Umti can find the pick under the Azir, that could be huge, but Jojo disengages. Now Berserker, he could be in a bad spot. He tries to flash back over the wall, but no! Impact shuts him down. Blaber's going to try to get away, but APA and CoreJJ are ready to play. They'll throw him right back into the unraveled earth, and Yeon goes on a rampage. It might be Baron for C9, but 3 of them are already dead. Only Jojo and Fudge remain as Team Liquid pushes down the top lane.
Yeah, that ended up being horrible for Cloud9. They hard commit to that. They lose the inhibitor on bot side. They lose so many members as well. And now, if Jojo dies, I mean, this game could potentially even be over. Thankfully, Fudge was able to push out
Jayce has
bot.
a kick and the flash up, I'm pretty sure still. Maybe he will go for some dive before Ivern spawns.
All right, Vulcan's back alive
For now.
to try to help the C9 defense. Still 20 seconds on Blaber, 20 seconds on Berserker. Inhibitor number 2, sure to fall here in the top lane. Nice little bit of poke, finds APA. He's down to about 60%. Umti was trying to get the next wave ready to go over here in mid. The mid lane tier 3 turret still hanging on with about 2/3 HP. Team Liquid, again, they lost the Baron, but they did serious damage to the C9 base.
And it's such a big deal because when the base is this destroyed, and they're actually even just laying in wait here, they're looking for a trap. We'll see if they can find Jojo.
JJ hits him with the tongue.
That was
Tries to flash forward, but APA is ready to ride the wall after him. Jojo flashing forward to get away from the seismic shove. That might be the outplay right there. APA drops first. CoreJJ here in the front line. Thick Skin's only going to buy him a moment as Berserker tries to catch up to Yeon and Impact. Yeon is burning, and Fudge is chasing right after him. Impact gets one back, but now he's got to be careful because Berserker's still on the chase. Umti back here in the mid lane in a 1v3, trying to get away from Blaber and Jojo. Team Liquid has lost 3 men, and C9 holds the line.
Okay, but Jax survives, so maybe it's not game over. I'm pretty sure if Jayce manages to beat Jax there and runs mid, the game might just be over. But Impact winning the clutch 1v1 there, so the only thing C9 can get is the Dragon. But that was very aggressive by Team Liquid. Like, I'm not sure what they were thinking. They're trying to kill Azir with Flash, Ult, and Zhonya's. Like, that was very optimistic.
Yeah, it definitely was. But honestly, great punish from Jojo. I think almost all players flash backwards in that situation to actually avoid the seismic shove. In this spot, he says, I still have Zhonya's. I have all. I can actually survive here. He flashes forward, stays in range of APA, allows him to get so much more than just an escape. It turns into a bunch of kills and nearly a game-ending situation, but still their base is in such a tough spot. You always have to be worried about the situations where there are those back doors. There's CoreJJ stepping forward, and here's the spot I'm talking about. Great initial ulti. The seismic shove's gonna land, but he flashes in, knowing he can't die from this spot. Blaber comes in with the assist. You get the heal as well from that Crypt Bloom, and they just are off to the races chasing him down, but
I would be
finish
so
off
mad as
Impact.
Umti if I lost this game like this. Like, he knows there is a Drake spawning, it's a soul point, and he just recalls in peace and tries to fight for it while his teammates are making this kind of play on top side. Not a good look.
Jojo's killer instinct showing up there in that fight as C9 fight tooth and nail to keep themselves in this game. Still 3,500 gold lead for the side of Team Liquid. But again, you know, this is another game that's going the distance. We're 38 minutes in.
Yeah.
3.5 doesn't mean that much.
And it gets weird because you have these situations where you're like, okay, we have 400 stacks on Smolder, we have Azir, we win the 5v5, but TL doesn't necessarily have to fight you ever for the rest of the game, right? If you overcommit to one side of the map, all of a sudden Jax TP's into your base, all of a sudden Taliyah ults into your base and the game can just end. So they have to be so worried about backdoors, they have to be worried about where is a ward that we could have missed that they could be TPing in onto. You know, how are you playing from this situation, you know, as C9 to try to make sure that you can actually make use of your 5v5 and not just get backdoored?
I mean, I'm pretty sure, first of all, you have to wait for TPs. And maybe when the Elder spawns, you just like run to Elder and force it. But there is still a while until it spawns. And I think if Team Liquid just keeps pushing side with Jax and just be annoying on the bot wave, like, there's pretty much nothing C9 can do. They just have to stall and wait for the 5v5 team fight. But I think if you are really good on Jax, you just never give them the fight.
And speaking of that, Jax, he has doubled down on defenses against Jojo. Final item in the build is the Force of Nature, so double MR tank items to be able to deal with this Azir in the side lane. No concern whatsoever over the Jayce. We've already talked about he's just in a spot where he feels like he wins that no matter what. And Impact is once again setting up for the split push in the bottom lane. APA in the top side with Umti bouncing back and forth between there and mid, where CoreJJ and Yeon are continuing to just be the two-man pushing crew. Yeon's at 148 stacks here on the Senna. We've been counting Smolder throughout this entire game, who's up to 429.
12% instant execution, by the way, at this point.
That's scary stuff.
Yeah, that is pretty terrifying on the Smolder. And if you are able to get Elder on top, the amount of true damage burn from the Elder plus the Q does get completely out of control. Berserker having to play behind Fudge. You know, they're trying to have someone unexpected shadow him and say, hey, look, our jungler's over here, our mid laner's over here, you should engage on the Jayce, and trying to set up some sort of a play to make something happen, but
yeah, they're
Jack's
trying
playing
to be
too
very
safe.
creative, but Impact plays this game for way too long to do.
He's been around for a very long time, for sure. You know, we were talking about his championship, you know, back in 2013.
Yeah.
He's a world champion on Jax.
Over a decade ago.
And it's pretty impressive how long not only has he played, but how long he's been playing at a really high level, you know, winning lots of championships, really has maintained his form over the years. So pretty impressive stuff from him, and rarely does get caught out in these bad spots. You can see now, again, Jojo pushing forward, but someone always has to be behind the person when Jax is there, because Jax is going to win these 1v1s. So Vulcan is locked up behind him, is on the other side of the map, the Baron spawning, and they could just start up a very slow two-man.
Yeah, it's a super slow two-man attempt from CoreJJ and Yeon.
So let's look at the Senna damage. This Nash is actually dying.
Yeon and Core working on it as Impact and APA pressure the bottom lane. Sundis summoned up by Jojo to try to deal with this. It doesn't look like anybody on C9 is really aware of what's going on. The only pings in the Baron pit
coming in now
are from the TL side. Berserker's gonna make his way over first. He steps over the control ward. Umti walking past him, trying to make his way into the pit to guarantee it's not able to be stolen. Team Liquid sneak the Baron.
Really well done. You know, they just showed these three members on the bot side, and they say, look over here, look over here. They had no idea. Even the blue ward from Fudge that was actually used was used in Tribrush. She was worried about a gank coming in. He was not thinking about them being on the Baron whatsoever. So smart stuff there from TL, being able to grab that Baron. It is going to be Dragon spawning in 25. They'll have the advantage of those pushing waves. You can see the APA getting the waves, pushing out on top side. Berserker stepping forward, has to be a bit careful.
Yeah, that was very creative, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I would come to
I gotta wonder where the call for that came from, because I feel like that just seems like such a CoreJJ play to me. I feel like I've seen similar types of calls from him before, but no way to know here right now. Smolder with so many extra projectiles coming out of that Q now. C9 going into the bot side river, looking for the Ocean Soul. It's 3-3 on the Drakes. APA is trying to ride the Weaver's wall to catch up to the rest of Team Liquid. The Drake is already burning super low. It's down to 2K. It is secured by the Smolder. It is secured by C9. They've got Ocean Soul now.
But now TL can run mid, right? TL can try to run mid. C9's got a base really quickly and try to defend that. That's their last inhibitor tower here. It gets pretty awkward from this position, but there's no minions fast enough. So I think C9 are going to be able to get back there in time. They're just going to try to tank this up and burst it down, and we'll see if they'll be able to do it. Jayce is back in base now. They do get that final tower down.
Yep.
Not able to knock down any of the actual inhibitors just yet.
Ooh, Vulcan trying to catch Umti, and Jojo's right next to him. Dawning Shadow over the top to keep Umti protected. Nothing there to come out from the seismic shove. Team Liquid still trying to play it safe. Impact coming around from behind, but Fudge is ready to intercept him. Berserker gets the kill on Umti with the execute. His Impact is now stuck going golden. Young grabbing a kill back on Vulcan as now he dies. Impact still trying to fight, but the helicopter crashes. Everybody on Team Liquid's dead. C9 ace for one.
It's not just the helicopter that crashes. Team Liquid crash and burn in that fight as they are torn apart by Cloud9, who finally are going to be able to close out this game.
Wow, that's the only thing I can say. Wow, like, I guess Nautilus was looking very juicy in the mid lane there, so we engaged on him, and I don't think Team Liquid should be fighting 5v5 with their team comp. That's what they were doing the whole game. They were split pushing all over the place, and right now they just gave them the free 5v5 with Smolder with 482 stacks at this point. Yeah, we'll be really strong again.
C9 getting themselves a 2-0 week after the break, coming back, trying to finish the rest of the regular season strong. They'll defeat Team Liquid and move to 6-5 here in the standings.
Big week for C9, but this one was a lot tougher than they would have liked. Definitely not the easiest of games. Looked like it was going to be pretty smooth in the early game, but I think some of their mid-game decisions, forcing around the Baron, were punished pretty heavily by TL. Umti getting a big Baron steal, and I think Impact playing really well through side lane, made this game look like it was going to get very tricky. But it just felt like Team Liquid got a little bit antsy. I think they could have kind of stuck the course, continued playing through sides. There's no inhibitor towers remaining. This was a game that, through one mistake from C9,